Alright, back with the stream. Back with the stream. And then put a date. Alright, so let's actually get started. If you go on Forex Factory right here, we got some red news that's been going on all day. We got USD red news. Then it was just some CAD news. Um, Nothing much. Typically, I just wait for after all the red news to trade just because of the under the account rules of not trading before news. I'm not sure if it's really connected to the pair. I have to recheck that, and that's just something I always have to just wait at after the news. Um, let's see. Yeah. This one doesn't matter because I'm gonna be off the charts by then. So gonna wait after 10:30 to look for potential setup. So in the meantime, we're gonna go through all my accounts and everything like I do every single day, and to show y'all I didn't take no trades off stream. So this is the first account. It's a 100K account right here. Refresh it. You can match up the drawdown from last streams and stuff like that. I'm just refreshing the page for you all. There we go. And just waiting. And as you can see, everything is still the same. The next account is my other account right here. The 5% is right here. You can see that I'm in a 4.8 drawdown right here. So, we can refresh right here. And as you can see, everything is still the same, like always. Um, let's actually go on the charts and stuff like that. I did take a peek at gold last night, and gold is actually looking extremely good. Why? So last week was really the whole setup played out perfectly last week. From this initial move up. Let me show y'all. Y'all can rewatch the streams and stuff like that. From this initial move up when it was initially right here, this is when I said, okay, we may have a cycle to continue because we had multiple confluences. A double break on a higher time frame in the overall direction, and then break up below. The likely target is the highs and stuff like that. Then when I went on the 30-minute and stuff like that, we saw a cycle play out where the flush is when price moves under all the MAs like that, or like breaks through the 20 and flushes down to the 50, like something like that, either or. And then we created the first fractal break right here. One, we had two, we had three, four, five, and then I was expecting for a price to make the fifth one, then flush out again, which is we come under all the MAs and then restart the cycle. When we made a sixth one, then we started flushing out. During this time, I think it was like yesterday, I was like, or the past 2 days, when gold was just in this area right here, I just said I'm gonna ignore this price action because if you see this, price is just consolidated and not doing anything. And I said I wanted to specifically move out of this area for clarity. Now we do have some clarity because look, gold it looks extremely clean. What do we see here? Um, get my let's see. We have the flush. Let's mark out the flush. Uh, going to there we go. This is the validation flush. So I'll just call it V flush so I can know where I am, right? And then let's get out our call out right here. Right here is where I would call the validation break instruction one, right? How do I know this is the validation break instruction one? Because after we accumulated the first move like out, we paused in 10 and 20 and continued higher. If I was right here in this point in time before price broke out of this area, I wouldn't have known this was the validation break instruction one, right? And that is one key important thing. I wouldn't have known it was, and I wouldn't have traded this if I was right here because it was still in this consolidation. Now, because of the context of the market, with what the story is doing now, since it's already out of it, I can now say, okay, it was clear that this was a validation reconstruction, but it doesn't matter because I didn't get involved in that. And now, but it, it aligns with the story on what I want to see. Then we have the validation reconstruction two. Here. Then we have the validation reconstruction three. So price is in an area where I can drop down to a lower time frame and see what's going on. Right. So me looking at this area, even though it's in a good context on the higher time frame, I don't like this area. The reason why is if I wanted a setup, right, all I will want is for price to move down, create the setup, then I get my entries. So example, this right here would have been an entry. If it was right now, this would have been an entry for me. And it would have been a quick loss. It's a quick loss. And then after that, once it re-breaks down, I wouldn't be interested in it because, you know, like I talked about in my last streams, my improvements is just waiting for price to just set up once. Like example, I marked this out last night, but it made a nice move down. I was gonna take a small trade for my challenge to pass it because I just need the point. I'm $300 away from passing, but I also need like $500 to meet the third minimum 500 day. So I was looking at this area because it moved down once, and it was gonna make a setup, but it didn't make that pause. Would have been a good pass, but I'm looking at this area right here. I'm not interested in trading it, even though the market's in a good context. Why I'm not interested? Because it didn't just fall down and set up quickly. We're in consolidation, basically. Look at it, moving sideways. So I don't want to get involved in it, even if it creates a setup like right here. And even then, it took out the overall high. So what would I be waiting for then? For this to look clear for me. Well, for one, let me highlight this consolidation because this consolidation is very important for what I'm going to discuss right there. What I will want for price to do is basically push out of this area. So it completes the third one. Pauses against the 10 and 20, probably like somewhere up here, not too close to the consolidation. If it's on top of it, as long as it doesn't come back into the box of the consolidation, then it's fine, right? But I would basically want a new range to potentially happen where I could just wait for a nice clean flush and then it sets up. That's all I want immediately. So gold, I have that in green. Yeah, yeah, that's all I'm waiting for gold. If I'm looking at this from a like higher time frame perspective, if I'm looking for a challenge trade, because I'm gonna be trading those during the live as well, because I need to add some capital. Good context and potentially like wouldn't be the highest probable setup. Because if I was to enter this for like a 1 minute time frame, I have to keep in mind what is it doing. Like if it pauses right here, it would need an immediate setup, but at the same time we're in this range. So I wouldn't risk it because I just want a quick just 500 then done to pass. Let me check the other markets. Whoa. Hold on. Let me see what is let me see what price is doing. Hold on now. Okay. Well, delete this because we have a new range to work with. I'm bearish on USD CAD and we're moving extremely nicely with the cycle. Extremely nicely. Yeah. Let me see the 30-minute real quick. We ended up reflushing, came down, paused on the 10 and 20 right here. That is nice. If we make another pause against the 10 and 20, I have to see what's potentially happening on the 5 minute. Yeah, this looks extremely good. Let me see if there's any opportunities, even on the like a lower time frame for potential shorts for a challenge. Like, but I'm still waiting for after 10:30, especially since this is CAD and YouTube releasing this CAD. Me looking at this right here, like it didn't just immediately go. It consolidated first here, so this whole range is like just invalid to me. Even if it like made its way back to the 10 and 20. It's just the fact that what I've been looking at for most of my good trades is it's just a nice clean flush. No play around, then it flushes. If it has a nice clean flush, then it plays around, then it moves out of it, then that's okay. But a play around before the flush, I don't like it. I don't like this area. But I'm gonna still put it in green because all we need to do is just push out this range like gold. Um, but it will still be good for my regular time frames. Um, yeah, yeah. I still like this though. So if it was like a 5 minute entry for my funded account, so I'm switching between 1 minute. So just so you understand, whenever I talk about a different time frame, I'm most likely looking for a challenge trade. When I'm talking about the 5 minute, I'm looking for a funded account trade. That's it. But this could set up beautifully for funded accounts because if this was to reflush, like even though I said there's two ways it could push down now. If it pushed down now, right, I could potentially look for a challenge trade because it will look clear. But if this just flushes cleanly to the 50, like I talked about, right, and creates a setup immediately where it pushes down, right, pauses against the 10 and 20 nicely, I could set up a sell stop. So this looks extremely clear to me for potential sells. Good morning, man. Good morning. We out here just analyzing, getting ready to see if there's any opportunities. So, if you just came in, like, I'm looking at gold and USD CAD buys. I'm looking for overall buys for gold. I'm just waiting for it to push out of this range right here. And then the USD CAD, I'm looking for sells. I'm just waiting for price to make like a nice pullback to here and then create a setup for me where I can get involved if it looks clean. So that's basically what I'm looking for. Let me check out the other markets real quick to see what's going on. USD CHF. This is extremely clear for shorts. Extremely clear. Let me see where we are in the cycle. So we flushed here. We created the first fractal flush break of structure. We had the second one. This USD CHF, I'm still not interested in it. I haven't been interested all week since we're in this consolidation area. So it's most likely like gonna keep chopping around. So in order for me to even be interested in it, I just need like a break away from this consolidation area and then create some type of setup where I can potentially get involved for lower price action. Basically like that. So that I'm not interested in that. Euro USD, even though I'm overall bullish with it and it's in a good bullish context based on what I'm looking for, um, not really interested in it because on this higher time frame right here, we're basically just moving sideways. So it's just the context of the market. The market is not looking good, not in a great condition, so nothing to do there. I'm looking at USD. Oh, that looks so. I can already tell this looks bad. Look at this. It's just choppy price action. When you see choppy price action, and your strategy doesn't go with it, you just stay away from it. Just stay away from it. So that's choppy to me. I'm looking at Bitcoin. I'm still probably not going to be trading Bitcoin because it's not clear for like a directional trade. Like the higher time frame is showing me short term shorts right here, but at the same time we're pretty much not doing anything like for a directional trade. It's just looking choppy. So the only two good ones on my list is basically just gold and USD CAD. That's all I'm waiting for. So I do need gold to break out of this range. And yeah. So the one that looks like it gets set up first, if it gets set up cleanly, is USD CAD, due to the fact that all it needs to do is pull back to this 10 and 20 on this higher time frame. And at that point, it would be near the area where I want to see a setup. So yeah, that's all I'm waiting for. Ooh. And like I said, if I don't get this type of movement, I will be looking at like potential other time frames from for a challenge trade specifically. So yeah, because I'm trying to pass. I'm so close to passing. The only thing is I can't connect it to a trade copy. Like I could tell, like it's not in a great context for a different time frame on trade right here because it's consolidating. And what do I mean by this? So like if I was a 1 minute trader in this area, basically, so like I use a few different other time frames to determine if a market is worth trading on a specific time frame. So what I would do is like if I was a 1 minute trader, I would start with the 1 hour. What is the context? Well, I would start with the higher, like the daily, but I already know this is overall short. So the next time frame I would go with is the 1 hour. See what we're doing basically. And what we have here is we have something where we flushed, we came through all the MAs, we came down, we paused at the 10 and 20 and moved down. That's our first fractal breaker structure on the context. So after we get that confirmation that okay, we may be in a bearish cycle, then I can go on something like a 6 minute and we see the same thing. We flushed, came down, we're pausing at the 10 and 20. So if I look at this 1 minute right here, the only problem is it's in the area where I want to see a setup, but the problem is we consolidated before moving to that area, right? So it wouldn't make really sense for me to look for a setup, even if it does set up. So I'm gonna ignore it. That's why I'm ignoring that 1 minute trade. Because if it was doing something like this, let me show you an example. If it did something like this, like on gold, where it just comes down cleanly or comes to 50 cleanly and then just sets up immediately, that's my ideal setup based on what I've been studying and stuff like that. I've been just reviewing my entries. This is like the most ideal where it just comes down, sets up immediately. Because if it doesn't set up immediately, like it comes down and it sets up and it just fails, it's either gonna just not do anything, just chop around, or just fall off, or can just set up at a different time. But I usually just wanna the best ones are just the immediate setups. Okay. So now we just play the waiting game to see when to get involved, basically. That was two attempts trying to lead this to one. Here we go. Let's see. Let me talk about how do I feel about almost being there to passing my challenge, but just missing it by a few $100s. I mean, like it sucks, but like I'm not even like it might sound crazy, but it's probably because I already have funded accounts, but it's like I wasn't really too focused on it. Like at first when it happened, I was like, ah, damn, shit, like. But like after a couple of days, like I actually just I'm not really focused on it because maybe it's because I'm doing a lot of other things that my mind is not really focused on it. But it's like, what can I do? You know, that was crazy. Like I was literally almost there. Time will tell. Like if I take a trade and then I end up losing that trade, maybe it'll probably hurt even a little bit more. But the only thing that's gonna actually get me through that finish line is just following the process. Following the process. That's the only reason why like I do the things I do. Why I don't wanna over risk. Why I just want to be patient for what I'm looking for is because the only way for me to get the results that I want, the only way to meet my goals for the year is just to follow the process. Cross. Let me take a look at some stocks as well. Are they in a good context? Wow. Actually, let me see what the higher time frames telling me real quick because I know those stocks have been bearish. I haven't looked at it since like these areas right here. So it wasn't good for a lower time frame. Um, moving down, paused right here, down. I'm just skipping through the labeling, but so I can be faster. So we flushed, created one, two, three, and we probably created this. And yeah, I'm not interested in it anymore. I mean, like it did do something good, so it immediately moved up, created some type of setup. This probably would have been like a quick break even, then a reflush. So yeah, I'm not interested in this area anymore. But that is ain't too bad actually. Let me see what the other ones. Sometimes just at it, taking a look at the story on what it's saying. Like something like Google, I wouldn't trade it right now because of what the higher time frame. We haven't even started a full cycle yet because we're reflushing on the context time frame. So we still haven't made like proof that we're moving lower before I look for some type of setup. So the meta made that proof already. You can see the difference basically. The proof is coming lower. It's just stuck in one area. But one thing to keep in mind too is it's also wiki as well. A little bit wiki. Not too wiki though. If I was to trade this, I'll probably wait for a new range. So basically what I'm waiting for gold and USD CAD, just a new range, pausing against the 10 and 20 and then look for the setup. That's it. All really just simple. Like that's all I would wait for, honestly. Um put this up here. Um what else? I'm just looking through markets, just seeing what is there. This is not showing me any clarity. Yeah. Like when a market is not showing you clarity, you don't have to trade it. Like based on the structure, like this happening right here, this is overall short, but I wouldn't trade this even though it's overall short because you got to remember, even though you're like you can predict the direction or whatever, it doesn't matter because you still got to get a good entry price or you're just gonna get stopped out or chopped out before the move happens. So even though this likely move is probably gonna move lower, because if you look at the weekly, we have a double break, a break of a high, and I say this all the time, a break of a high when you have previous breaks of on structure like this, bearish, likely move is gonna move lower for the, especially since it's on a higher time frame. But we're just chopping around for now, so I don't know when that may happen, but timing is very so it's key basically. Um, no, what about Microsoft? Microsoft. It's not really in an area where it's doing anything. The daily it's bearish. Actually, let me check the 5 hour real quick. Yeah, we're not really doing anything. The only stock I really see that's potentially doing something is Meta. You just see the clarity within the moves. Yeah. Okay, so we had a pause. Let me see what's going on in this lower time frame. Yeah, I'm not really doing nothing as of yet right now for a 5 minute entry. 'Cause I wanted I just wanted a quick move up in that setup, but it didn't do that. It just stopped by the 20 and then just continued lower, which is completely fine. But, like most likely, if we break this low right here, I may be looking for a different time frame entry for just a challenge. But that's probably what I'm about to do. Mm, Now I'm just chilling, waiting. I still could put some alerts on where I'm expecting price to move out of. That way I'm not really missing anything. For this, I'm waiting for a move out of this range. So probably just I'll set another alert at above this high right here. looking more clean like that. Alright, God. Just remember that can trade stocks and where for you even be interested in this new this new range. I'll wait for this low to be clear. So, yeah. Okay, I put it actually. I will 515. I'm gonna just be on mode right here. Yeah. Let me look at NVIDIA. It's not looking clear for now. Whoa, this is bullish structure. What is that? Yeah, it's not looking clear at all. At all. At all. And notice how, like, even though I switched through time frames, like, there's no rush in the process because basically it just doesn't look clear. Basically, Alright, so it's almost 11 o'clock. So my goal right now is to see is it worth staying on the chart to wait for the setup before 12 or should I leave? So if I look at this right now, in order for me to wait for the setup, right, I need a clean pause right there. But at the same time, what we talked about, if I'm looking at this price action right now, we did make just a nice move down. We played around in this area for some time now. As you can see right here, we're playing around in this area. So even if it does move to the high right here, I wouldn't be interested because it's potentially consolidated. So now if it comes back into the box, this could easily chop around it and be consolidation like that. So what does that mean? What should I wait for instead? Probably a move lower, then a move pausing at the 10 and 20, something like that. Makes sense to me. Yeah. That would take about lower. If I'm guessing, so this candle closes in 11. Then we have to make that move within two candles. So I don't think USD CAD was set up in time because in order for me to get a move lower, then a move higher, let's just say that happens in two candles, right? This candle closes at 11, then we have 11:30, then 12, just for some reason, right? Then on top of that, I would have to wait for the confirmation to set up, which is some extra time. So this is likely not to set up before 12. So it's just certain stuff like that. I do this all the time to determine. Gold specifically, definitely not gonna set up on time because even though it's in a great context, you still need okay, say it closes right here, make a push up. That's 11. Pause at 11:30. Yeah, I mean it's possible. But at the same time, I do feel like it may just chop around a bit more before making a move higher. But it is possible for price to move higher. After this candle closes, this would be 11 o'clock. It closes, then 11:30. Nah, actually, nah. Because if this candle closes right now at 11 o'clock, then let's just say assume we have a move that happens out of this range. That would be around 11:30, 11:30. Then we have to wait for the pause, which would already be 12 o'clock. So gold is off the list for potentially setting up now. And for Meta, I want because we're in a range. Let me just show you this in right there. We're in a range right here. So what I would say like that. What I would say is I'll wait for a move clear lower. So if this closes at 11, you get a move like that. 11:30, 12. So the same thing. I don't think any of these will set up on time because it's the same thing like gold. Like if we assume a move happened, it will be like 11:30 at that time, and then we have to wait for the pause. It gets to 10:20. That would be like 11. that would be 12. So there's no point in staying on the charts. I'm gonna hop off. I'm gonna show up tomorrow and then see what's going on.